Welcome everyone to Arbiter Social Chess episode 33. We have a guest interview today with international arbiter Ivan Syrovy from Slovakia, head of the chairman of the Arbiters Commission from F.I.D.E. Welcome, Ivan. With us is
Welcome.
our international arbiter Prodromos Gerontopoulos and Mark Bryan from Cyprus.
Nice to meet you, Ivan, the chairman of the Arbiters Commission. And here in this episode, we would like to share a few things about you, about your occupation, about your career as an international arbiter. So would you like to introduce yourself first, Mr. Ivan?
Hello, everybody. Hello, Mark. Hello, Chris. So my name is Ivan Syrovy. As I was introduced, I'm arbiter, international arbiter from Slovakia. In my profession, I'm a lawyer, attorney. I have a family, 3 children, and one of my hobbies is, of course, chess, and not just being arbiter, but also I love playing chess. And also another hobby is martial arts for me. So, okay, this is about me.
Very interesting. This is something a mix about the brain and the body.
Yeah.
Very interesting and very vital for you and your
Yeah,
family.
it's like I was grown up in this way. My parents, they loved to know something about art. For example, I love singing or playing guitar to maybe, yes, to train your brain, so chess, and also to practice or exercise some sport activities. So later on, I started to focus on martial arts here.
Very nice. So when did you become an arbiter for the first time?
I just remember when I first participated in Slovakia, it was a lecture course for 3rd grade, so the lowest grade of all arbiters. So it was like my introduction in this topic. So in our country, it works so that once you wanted to start, even on the lowest level, you have to pass successfully the seminar and exam. And after it, with the 3rd grade, you can start being arbiter for 2nd league. So next year you can get the 2nd grade and go to 1st league, and higher you get the 1st degree, and you can be arbiter for the highest league. So we have quite developed system of education of arbiters on national level. So I remember for sure I started being arbiter in leagues. So it's not tournaments, but leagues. And later on, yes, some small events in Slovakia, F.I.D.E tournaments. I have really nice memories. We have one beautiful event in High Tatras. For example, the players, they start playing at 5 p.m. So during the day, they go hitchhiking and they return for the round and they play almost till the midnight. But it's really lovely event in a beautiful area. So I remember many years going there. Yeah.
Great experience. Mark, do you want to add something?
It's very important for an arbiter to first do the seminar and then be an arbiter over the board, or the other way around is also possible?
It works. Yes, so you can't be arbiter just because you are a player without successfully passing at least this lowest grade. And you can't skip like to get directly from 3rd grade to 1st grade. You have to go step by step. We have some years of practice, so it's not just about seminars and exams. And you have to also prove that you practice as arbiter. Of course, each level is more and more difficult. Well, for example, to be the 1st class arbiter on the national level, you have to take a 2 days intensive course. Many topics are covered. So, and I would like to say is that also experienced lecturers, they are leading these seminars. Now I do it on the national level, of course, for my country as well. Yes.
What I was meaning is, for an arbiter to start, is it recommended to start arbitering at tournaments or first to do seminar and then start arbitering?
If you want to be arbiter, whatever event, you have to first successfully pass the lowest level of education. So first is the education, the seminar. Once you pass it, you can be an arbiter on tournaments or leagues and so on. So first is education. You have to prove some knowledge. Then you can become arbiter. I remember in my country in the past, but it's no more. We had also a limit. So you wanted to get to the highest level, on national level, you had to have at that time ELO like 1,900. So it was also expected that you are decent player as well. So somehow they felt that it's important for a good arbiter also to understand chess.
Very good.
So you think that all arbiters should do first a course and then become arbiter for an event? It's
Yes.
very important
Yes.
for an arbiter to have attended some kind of seminar before.
Yeah. Of course, because you get some knowledge, and it's much different because many people, they think that it's so easy to being arbiter. Yes, that I'm a player, so I just switch a role and I will be arbiter. But it's not so. You have to be prepared. Of course, it's not just about seminars and trainings. It's also about practice. Yes, because there is not single good arbiter without practice. So you have to get both. But I accepted that first you start with some course, some education, the simplest level, and then you get practice. It's not possible like just say that I did a seminar, I will wait 1 year and then I will go for higher category without any practice. It doesn't make sense. So you have to get both, yes.
Also to have some norms from tournaments, and also to have a level in chess, to be just a player, not in a high level, but to know something, or to have the experience as a player, as a chess
Yeah,
player.
you remember in the past article it
Know
was
about how
two, and
to take
yes,
the decisions
that's it.
in a game, in a chess game. Yes.
I remember in the past many times I was asked to make decision in the situation where the player had less than 2 minutes without increment, and it was the decision of arbiter. Even you had like two grandmasters, you were the one to ask to make decisions. So unless you understand chess at least at some level, it would be really tricky and difficult.
Yes. Also, would you like to introduce us your experience as chairman of FIDE Arbiters Commission? How are the things there in the commission, and about your role as a chairman?
Yeah, I can say about my role that now I'm in the third year. My term is for 4 years, so it's already 2 years are over, more than 2 years. I would like to first say that fortunately we are a good team of people, good team of arbiters, and we try to do our best to support arbiters. We have like several areas where each member can be involved. For example, one, and maybe the most important, is education of arbiters. You are aware that we started last year with international arbiter seminars, but we prepare refresher courses. I wish we launch them soon. We try to make some improvements. For example, now we cooperate with Fair Play Commission about better teaching of their topics, and also that fair play people will get some knowledge from arbiters about laws of chess and so on. So, and okay, this is all about education. We have another team responsible for appointment of arbiters for world events. Then one team of arbiters and members responsible for titles and licenses. So once the arbiter is, for example, a FIDE arbiter and wants to become international arbiter, there are people who check his application or her application if it's correct, sufficient norms from good tournaments, also about upgrades. And we have one team working on arbiters manual, another team responsible for answering questions, because we get everyday questions from arbiters all over the world, and not just arbiters, but also players. And they want to know our opinion on some situation. They are not sure. And what I can say, no one should hesitate. If you are not sure what's the correct decision, it's always good to ask. We never blame any arbiter for saying maybe stupid questions or simple questions. We much more appreciate people asking, because then we know that they want to know the correct answer. So we always say, be open, better ask than to make a mistake. So I would like to say that we are a good team. Of course, some arbiters, some members are much more involved, some less. It depends how busy they are and how much they want to support our work. And fortunately, I would like to say that we have a great secretary, Mr. Nebojša Baralic,
Yes.
who is doing a great job. So I'm really happy that we cooperate closely together and we try to do our best.
I agree with you because I have cooperated with Mr. Nebojša many times, and I agree with your words about Nebojša.
Yeah.
Mark, do you want to add something?
No, I was like looking at something here.
Okay. Last September 2004, we have a great cooperation, Mr. Ivan, in the 45th Chess Olympiad in Budapest.
Yeah.
Something unique. It was the greatest team competition for the countries. Would you like to tell us something? Because it was a great competition.
Yeah, first of all, it was a great honor for me to get this appointment as a chief arbiter, because for sure,
yes, that's right. Yes.
Chess Olympiad is the greatest event. Whatever you can't compare it, just when you count the number of arbiters, the team, the people, organizers, players, it's the top. And of course, according to this event and its importance, you have to prepare for such event. So unlike some other events where you just get and you have maybe one meeting before or during, starting working on Olympia, the whole preparation, it took several months, and especially last maybe 2-3 months were really hectic, but always it was a great time, either speaking with FIDE or organizers from Hungary. Everyone tried to do the best so to have a successful event. And I was happy how well prepared were also arbiters. We tried to improve the system of preparation of arbiters for Olympiad. We organized several online meetings plus one in-person meeting, and we discussed several different topics. Why I like Olympiad, because we got there arbiters from all continents. And once they get, maybe it was for the first time for them to get such experience, they return back to their countries and they know what level of arbiters we would like to see on other events as well, how we cooperate together, what's important. So it's not only about Olympiad, it's also about good chess atmosphere, and that we try to meet with other arbiters to make friendships and to help them, support them in some way, because for many of those arbiters, they were for the first time on Olympiad, so they never saw such an event. And we try to do our best to support them, to explain them not to be stressed, nervous, but to enjoy it as well. So it was like several different topics. Of course, we had some issues with visas, some arbiters having problem with flights and so on. So every day there was something what needed to be solved. But at the end, you saw the result, and the result from my side was great. When I was speaking about arbiters, none of them make any serious mistake, and we acted as one team. So it was really, really nice experience for everybody, I would say. Yeah.
We saw that, and we agree about your words. How you kept the balance between before the games with the meetings in the center of the playing hall. It was something great, something unique, and you gave every day details, specific details, and the correct details for every. And you mention things in every round. That's something in order not to go wrong. Yes.
Of
Question:
course, there
How?
were, sorry.
No, sorry. Continue.
There were some mistakes, of course. Everyone, we are human, but we try
Yes.
to improve. So from each round, we try to improve the things that were not working on 100%. So it's correct. For example, we had cases when Arbiter missed that it was not allowed to have a draw agreement before move 30 completed.
Yes. This.
And always we try to support them. And it happens, of course, but we try to avoid such cases because it's always a mistake also of arbiter. But what was important is how arbiters acted towards players that they enjoy it. So we had no problem with any arbiter who would be rude or not behaving properly. So I really felt that we had a good team there.
This I have to mention that this with the 30 completed moves from the player with the black piece has to do with the experience from the arbiter with the live games board. You have
Yes.
to the sector. We went to the sector and we uh, told him to check in the laptop and the monitor wherever he has on a screen.
Yeah, because the
Right.
sector arbiters, they could
Yes, the
use their
sector
notebook,
support in these situations. Yes.
and they have a special program to check these claims. So it is a good solution not to deal it on the chessboard and disturb other players still playing. But the sector arbiter, he was responsible for checking each claim. And I would like to say that this Olympiad, we had no better decision regarding all these claims. 5 times repetition, 3 times repetition, 50 moves rule, 75 rule. So it was working properly. Good system.
So
Question:
you have to.
How high do you find that the arbiters need to be able to work with each other?
You can imagine that we spent together in one hotel 2 weeks. It's quite a long time. So if the relation is not good, it influences not just those arbiters, but the general atmosphere and so on. Of course, when you spend too much time with someone, you can get some problems. Maybe you open some topics that are not nice. Each of us came from different culture. It's also important to understand it. But I felt that it was working. That also in the
So
evening,
cooperation is very important.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's really important because it can ruin the system like generally. And I don't like, you can have a really experienced arbiter, well knowledge, well prepared, but not behaving properly, not a team member. And for Olympiad especially, you need good team members who understand that I'm here, one, the team, and I'm important part of the team, but others are important as well. And we can be successful at all, or no one will be successful. So if I try just to show that I am here, it's not good, like show that you are responsible for your match, but you support others as well.
So the arbiters need to be in a team. In any kind of tournament, the arbiters always need to be supportive of each other.
Yes, and it depends, like it starts from the beginning. You have to be on time, you have to be prepared, but ready to assist to someone else, Even you can have a lot of pressure, maybe some bad news from your countries or something happens there. Once you get inside the playing hall, you should understand that you are chess professional and you do your best, doesn't matter what's going on. And if you have any struggle with someone, I know about some people, some arbiters, we are one family, but of course, not everyone is good with anybody. We try to avoid it. Also during Olympiad, I got this information and you try to do the good solution. For example, you put the arbiter in another sector to avoid some conflicts and so on. So it's also your responsibility to maintain the integrity of the team.
And arbiters should help each other. Even if one arbiter makes a mistake, you should be helping them and not throwing them under the bus.
Because yes, if you behave like a boss and you try or somehow punish someone, it won't help because he will continue being arbiter. And I don't like these cases. You try to support. Okay, you have to explain what was wrong, what was the mistake. but still you have to distinguish what kind of mistake. For example, if an arbiter will be somewhere and he will be drunk, here I have zero tolerance because it's not acceptable. If arbiter makes a mistake, for example, wrong evaluation of some illegal move or so on, or maybe it takes him or her too long to add 2 minutes, maybe just because he's under stress or pressure, this you can support him, maybe ask him next time to check and work with clocks, but you have understanding for this kind of change, maybe mistakes. So it's always different. You can't act as the chief arbiter, he just to laugh and so on, because they have to feel that you are a leader and you are strict and responsible. Because if you are too released as arbiter, you make mistake. But on the other hand, if you are under stress that someone pushes on you and you feel that once I make a mistake, I will have to go home or so on, it's not good. You have to tell them, we are here to help you. You have your sector arbiter, deputy chief arbiter who will help you. You can ask them, but there are some limits. For example, for me as a chief arbiter, what I mostly don't like is seeing arbiter going to observe the top matches. It happens frequently, but this is something what for me is not acceptable. If you are responsible and you are assigned in one sector for some matches, you can't leave just to watch your team or to watch top matches. What happens? Players see, arbiters are watching matches. It shows that this arbiter feels his or her match is not important. It's somehow that other matches are more important, but during Olympiad, each match is equal.
What about if,
Right.
let's say, arbiter talking about games?
Yeah. Also, like arbiter should be professional. Same we expect from players, that once you start playing, it's not like vacation, the chatting with other players, with arbiters. But if they see players that arbiters are talking together and discussing topics, it's also not good. And Olympiad is great that you have 2 weeks, but being arbiter, okay, it takes 5-6 hours a day. You have still a lot of time in the morning, in the evening, there are some days off, so a lot of time to enjoy other arbiters. Once you get inside the playing hall, please be fully concentrated. Of course, but this I think that arbiters understand. I am responsible for my match, so it's not good. And of course, it disturbs players. So arbiters, I always say, we should keep a higher level than we expect from players. And we don't like players speaking together. So even more strict we have to be about arbiters.
Great. Could you tell us something, Mr. Ivan, about your future plans, about competitions, and about you as an arbiter?
Yeah, this year I am planning to go to Romania. There will be European individual in the position of chief arbiter. It will be in March. And I'm really looking forward for this, and I'm thankful to ECU for this invitation. And in April, I plan to go to India for the leg of Women Grand Prix. I love this kind of events, the preparation and everything, that, okay, only 10 players, women players, but the atmosphere and the preparation and the high level of all kind of services there. So it's also nice to join this event. So it will be March and April. And at the end of May and beginning of June, there is one nice event in Austria, in Linz. It's different because the whole tournament is being played in open mall. So there are people walking there, doing their shopping. And so, okay, it's a little bit noisy, but all conditions for every player are equal. Last year, for example, FIDE, they made their team with Anand on the first board and other strong players, also for FIDE, and I got really good feedback that they enjoyed this event. So it's really also interesting that many players, they are scared how it will work like for the first time. but they like to return there every year because they see that organizer is trying to do the best. So now, okay, till the first half of the year, I have these 3 events, so quite a lot. Yeah.
Very nice. Would you like to tell us to analyze your greatest experience from a competition, from an event, let's say something that you was very happy about the event or the competition or about your role? Let's say your favorite experience as an arbiter, as a chief arbiter,
Yeah.
ever.
I never say the favorite experience. I enjoy really every event. I was in Cyprus. I enjoyed this event. Samarkand, same Grand Prix in Berlin, and all, but other events as well. Each event is different, and you can't say that one event is more important or less important, because what's important is to have a successful event and to see that the players understand that we did the best for them. So, in my eyes, it's always important to get a feedback after the event. If there is some place for improvement, how to make it, if it was good and what was bad. And this way you can improve in the future to see, okay, and to be honest, when you make a mistake, how to avoid it in the future, what can be done better. Many times the arbiter is like a link between players and organizers. So players, they tell him a lot of good proposals, how to improve things. You have to be open towards organizers, what they can do different, just to support the conditions of players. So I think that arbiters should be like really open new ideas and study each day from others. Yes. Doesn't matter what position. I can be chairman of Arbiters Commission. Still, I'm just one of many arbiters, and I always study from others. I get feedback. I try to listen to them, what they propose, how they like to do the things, and then I can take the good parts from each event. Yes.
A quick question: how many boards should each arbiter look after maximum?
This is really difficult, Mark, to answer. You know, we have also regulation for world events, but there we have different numbers.
Conditions.
It depends on. Yes. Also, it depends if it's a standard game or rapid and blitz.
Let's go standard game.
Yeah. And that's funny that mostly arbiter has more boards when it's rapid and blitz than on standard, you know, so it's even more tricky.
Yes.
You know, in my eyes, quite normal is to have 25 up to 30 players for one arbiter. Still, I keep this, it's okay. It means like 12 up to 15 boards for one arbiter, okay. Of course, when you have a league, it's normal to have one arbiter for 8 boards, you know, because mostly.
What about having more, like 40 players per arbiter?
You know, then it depends how you are here to support, because you have to always understand that if you have a match lasting 5-6 hours, you need to go for a break. And if you have 40 players and you go for a break, someone has to cover your boards. And it's quite a lot then, because he has his 40 boards plus your, you know, and that's, I think it's really like too much, you know, because what we would like to see, even fully concentrated arbiter, he can't see everything. And if you have more and more boards, of course, more and more mistakes occur, you know. So, and it's always this pressure, because to say that one arbiter for one match during Olympiad, oh, it's luxus, yes? Okay, this Olympiad, we have some system that some arbiters were assigned for 2 matches. Still, it looked nice. It's just 8 board. But also in these cases, you have to think about, okay, some are smokers, some have some health issues, some need to go. And then it's like, okay, no problem, but don't put too much pressure on arbiters, you know. So I hate when I see that organizers, they try to save money and they would like to have 1-2 arbiter for 400 players, 200 players. What's the problem? They expect that everything will work, and it can. but mostly something is wrong, and then the arbiters are not able to help and assist the players, the organizer, because they can't do it. So, we try to avoid problems, and it means that we have to be responsible. And it's not about money. Okay, arbiters have to be paid, but organizers have to understand that don't save money on the number of arbiters. It's not a good way.
Yes, I completely agree.
Mr. Ivan, would you like to mention some things about the rules, the FIDE laws of chess 2024, as we took the manual in the Olympiad?
Yes. This nice work. We do it every 2 years to present the new manual, the changes in the manual. Now we are going to present a new version 2025, but mostly about some fair play regulations, what are new. There was a change in tiebreak regulation we introduced. So it's like I say, the living body. It's not like I have one manual, I read it, and I know everything. I have to get with changes and to listen and to understand. But Arbiter's manual is not just collection of laws of chess and other regulations. We try to include them some explanations from experienced arbiters, mostly to help to arbiters how to understand some articles and so on. So I love the preface of laws of chess, but some arbiters they feel that they can make whatever decision. And I always say, feel free to make a good decision based on other cases covered in the laws of chess. But once there is a clear decision in the laws of chess, you can't start thinking that I would like to make a different decision. If there is a clear decision in the laws of chess, how to deal with such a case, you have to accept it. You can't, even as an arbiter, say that I'm not going to obey the laws of chess.
One of the biggest topics I have is what is considered as accidental touching of the piece.
Mm-hmm.
Because the laws of chess say only if a piece is clearly accidental. So what does clearly accidental mean? So let's say I want to move the king, but while I go to move the king, I touch the queen by mistake. Is that accidental, or is that on purpose because I touched the queen thinking it's a king?
Yeah, but if it's this case that I thought that it's a king, but I touch the queen, you have to make a move with a queen as a queen. It's your mistake. And this is important why we need to have focus arbiters. Because if players start complaining, you touched the piece, and player says, I did not, there are no cameras, no chance to prove who is right. And
we can also not use people from around, yes? Spectators are not.
You can, but it depends. Always you have to be careful. For example, if they are team members, they try to help maybe to the colleagues. So if it's not like impartial witness or spectator, it's always tricky, And it many times happens that you are not sure. And here you have to defend the weaker party. It means that I'm not sure if it was accidental or not with intent, I have to prefer the accidental, because if I say no, I think you touched the piece, and in real it wasn't so. It was just accident. Then I changed the result of the game totally. If I say that it was probably accidental, still the player will be asked to make the move that was possible. That would be allowed if he or she doesn't touch the piece. So. But never make such a decision before fully investigate. If you hurry too much, you mostly don't make a good decision. Listen to the players, let them explain it, how it was, to show it on the other board, but to do it somewhere where are not other players interfered, because they want to concentrate on chess. So if you have such a case, you have to take both players, ask them, listen to them, how they explain what happened. And now in these days, many times we can find some evidence from cameras and so on. So,
What final question for today? What what about if someone is related to the player? Let's say an arbiter is related to the player, or is somehow the coach of the player. This sometimes is something you cannot avoid, yes, because
Yeah.
due to the amount of arbiters in a play, sometimes it's very common that the arbiter has some kind of relation to the player.
Yeah, what you can do as a chief arbiter if you know about such a relation. It's important that the arbiter informs you. For example, my son is playing in this tournament and I'm here arbiter. Okay, what I can do, of course, I won't assign this arbiter for such matches of my son or his son or daughter, so you can at least avoid some direct contact. Because it always, the arbiter, but he's the father of the play. It's not good. If you can avoid it because you have more arbiters, so try to do the best
But
not
it's
to
not a
put this
problem.
arbiter.
But it's not a problem for
Yeah.
that arbiter to be in the playing hall, yes?
No. But also you have to understand, if I'm arbiter, I can't act as a coach, as a player, as a father, as a parent, or you have to understand I am here as a full professional, as an arbiter. Even my son asked me or wants to get some advantage, I have to say no. I will behave equally to every player here. And what's maybe better approach is to be more strict, just to show that no advantage. But okay, we don't need it. But
Unfortunately, we had this.
understand it, but we never have such a cases, yes, that arbiter will be not allowed just because some relatives are playing. Yes, we can't avoid it on especially lower level. On top events, even we can't have sometimes arbiter from same country as the players playing. But this is about round robin tournaments with smaller number of players. Once we have a big Swiss events, you can't have it that arbiters just from different countries than players.
Okay.
In conclusion, Mr. Ivan, would you like to give an advice to all the arbiters all over the world from this channel?
Yeah, maybe the good advice how to act as an arbiter. And there are like three kinds of arbiters. I repeat it. One is the arbiter who tries to behave like a boss. I am the boss of this event and everyone is here for me. This is really bad arbiter, because arbiter, they have to understand that we are here mostly for players and to have a good atmosphere to support players. Then there is arbiter on the other side of the field who tries to look that I am well prepared and so on. But once there is a problem, he tries to turn around and leaving, not going to solve the problem. So this is useless arbiter, because especially in a case when there is a problem, arbiter is there to solve the problem, to be there to assist the player. So it's good to be somewhere in the middle, to be calm, patient, to be nice, but to be strict and good prepared. It means if I am needed, I will be there. If I see a problem, I'm not going to hide, going to toilet, to refreshment area, or waive my duties to some other arbiters. I have to be prepared. But on the other hand, I never hurry making a decision, because it's better to take some time to check it, maybe to discuss it with deputy if needed, because once I make a bad decision, it's always bad for arbiters at all, because then the players know, oh, but this is a weak arbiter, he doesn't know it, he made a bad decision. So you can't wait too much, you have to be ready to set the clocks and so on immediately, but not to be in too hurry. I think I know it. And what's the mistake if arbiter thinks that I know everything by my heart? I don't need to have laws of chess. I always want arbiters, if you go somewhere, have at least regulation of the event, laws of chess, and it's much better to find there the correct decision. Okay, that's my advice.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for your time, because there is for all these very interesting things, very vital things for the arbiters, for all the chess players. Thank you, Mr. Ivan Syrovy, the president and the chairman of FIDE Arbiters Commission.
We wish you all the
Thank you.
best in the next months with your tournaments and all the best on the FIDE Arbiters Commission. Hope to see you
Thank
soon
you,
at
my
some
friend.
event.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good night,
Thank you,
everyone.
my friends.
Bye
Right.
bye.
Thank you, Mr. Ivan. We really
Bye-bye.
appreciate for this interview.
Thank you for inviting me and have a good night.